Hello, everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. There's no shortage of Peter Pan adaptations out there, but Disney is back with another one of their live-action remakes of one of their beloved animated movies. Peter Pan and Wendy will be streaming exclusively on Disney Plus April 28th, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Director David Lowery previously made the remake of Pete's Dragon and brings that same mature and artistic eye to Peter Pan and Wendy. Now his take starts off in a similar fashion of the animated film, with Wendy, John, and Michael Darling playing in their room on a rainy night. They're pretending to be Peter Pan and Captain Hook, as told in one of their favorite stories. Ray Anderson stars as Wendy, who is bemoaning the notion of heading off to boarding school. She doesn't want to grow up and would rather just be a kid playing and having fun with her brothers. In flies the real Tinkerbell, who's played by Yara Shahidi, and Peter Pan, who's played by Alexander Molony, surprising the kids who only believe them to be characters in a story. They all fly off to Neverland, hoping to never grow up. And we all know what happens next, as Jude Law and Jim Gaffigan make their presence known as Captain Hook and his right-hand man Smee. Hook's rivalry with Peter Pan comes head-to-head with a look back at how it all started. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a Peter Pan and Hook origin story, but director David Lowery, who co-wrote the screenplay with Toby Holbrooks, used J.M. Barrie's original story and the Disney animated film as their source material for this film. The score by Daniel Hart has a really whimsical and magical feel, inviting audiences in with a familiar opening and then this jumping off point, including a bit where Peter tries to sew on his shadow. Now, if you saw David Lowery's take on Pete's Dragon, you may remember him trying to take this magical and fantasy story and then setting it in a realistic world. He takes that same approach here by keeping Peter Pan and Wendy as grounded in a realistic world as possible. Now, he goes from the dark and dreary London to the majestic, earthy tones of the really lush Neverland. It's gorgeous to look at. And yes, Peter Pan still flies, and Tinkerbell is still a fairy, but the Lost Boys now are a diverse group of young boys and girls. Tiger Lily is treated authentically instead of in this negative stereotype. And the core conflict comes in what it means to be a good friend and the dissolution of a friendship. He treats his younger audience watching this movie in a mature fashion, knowing that they can handle the darker, more mature themes without relying then on silly potty humor or comedy gags to appeal to them. We even see this in how he treats his actors. Jude Law's Captain Hook is nowhere near as frightful or as devilish as you'd expect. I think that Dustin Hoffman's made for a scarier Hook in Steven Spielberg's Hook. Yara Shahidi is a spunky Tinkerbell, and newcomers Alexander Molony and Ray Anderson give really earnest performances as the title characters. David Lowery isn't trying too hard to reinvent the wheel of Peter Pan and Wendy, but it's not a total copycat knockoff like the most recent Pinocchio remake from director Robert Zemeckis. I'm giving Peter Pan and Wendy 3 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got some other movie reviews as well as my appearances on Twin Cities Live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Paul's Movie Trip. I'd love to hear from you. Do you have a favorite in these kind of newer Disney live-action remakes? I'd love to hear from you. Paul's Trip to the Movies is also brought to you by Popcorn. You're going to want to have some snacks on hand when you want to watch this movie. Go visit their website, place an online order, or take the whole family into the store. Each person in your family could try different samples, bring home different flavors to really meet everyone's taste buds. Whether you want something sweet, salty, chocolatey, savory, fruity, they literally have something for everyone. I really love their sea salt and cracked pepper flavor. It is so good. So stop in there today. If you want to try a bunch of samples, follow them on social media too at PopcornMN. Paul's Trip to the Movies is also brought to you by Imagine Theaters. You know, I just always love that theatrical experience, and I so wish that Peter Pan and Wendy was playing in the movie theater, as I think it'd be even better on the big screen. So go follow them on social media at ImagineMN, EMAGINEMN. As they've got some really fantastic programming coming up, some community events, and I recently kicked off my monthly movie series with them. It was so fun to show a league of their own to their audience, and coming up in May 28th is going to be Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. Do not miss out on that. Tickets are now on sale for that, and June 25th, The Dark Knight. You definitely have to see both those movies on the big screen, of course. So go get tickets for them. imagine-entertainment.com to look for my series Paul McGuire Grimes Presents, and you can get tickets right there. And thank you so much for watching my review of Peter Pan and Wendy. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.